Where everything has been deforested, we still have green, which is almost a miracle. That is thanks to the family Pablo Barrios, that they knew what was happening, and they knew that if they didn't create this protected area, this probably would never exist. It would be just grass. It's what I like there's a little spot of green in the middle of almost a desert. Barrios family, they were always very conscious about the environment, about conservation, because they were seeing around them what was happening, deforestation at big scale. So they really wanted to preserve a special area. They knew that beachfront was important. As today, we don't have an inventory, so they didn't know exactly what was in it, but they knew it was important to preserve it. It was a long process. They started to gather some signatures around town. They got a lot of them. They applied to have this special protected area status, and they got it. At that time, it was like unheard. People, why do you want to protect it? You're losing money. You're losing land that could be farmed, that could be for cattle. Why do you want to protect it if you're going to be losing money? But somehow they knew it. This was 10 years ago, and here people were not understanding the rest of the people. But Mr. Pablo Barrios, he knew that it was important to protect this area.
What we're doing here is a research project, and we're trying to complete a species list of all the birds in the Pablo Arturo Barrios Wildlife Refuge. Right now there's no data on the birds in the refuge, so we're trying to survey as much of the refuge as we can to create a list. I feel like this refuge is important in the sense that it hosts many different types of ecosystems, and in that sense, it hosts a wide variety of species, and a lot of interactions between these species can happen in this refuge because of the complexity of the ecosystems, and also with the connection with the sea and Isla Iguana that's nearby. It's making the ecological bridge between Pablo Arturo Barrios and Isla Iguana is very important.
My name is Annalise Geisterfer, and I'm from Gatineau, Quebec, and I study at McGill University in environmental science, specifically biodiversity and conservation. So we're trying to help the Eswero project get a management plan for the refuge. We went out for, I guess, 2 weeks, once in February, once in March, and we found over 50 species now, which is really cool, and a lot of big groups as well. So example, we found the magnificent frigate bird, which is the population is vulnerable, and there's tons of them here. So that was kind of cool to see that it's a vulnerable species, but it relies a lot on this habitat. I think it's an important area to protect, and I think that a lot of these areas kind of getting smaller and smaller, and for birds, the patches are getting smaller, so the populations don't have areas to breed, or are losing breeding areas, or are losing feeding areas.